So everybody, as we are here today for the forum of, you can say, the right talent. So there are the two, you can say, connecting the great talent with the amazing opportunities. That is the one of the agenda of today's meet, right? We feel that recruitment and selection are the two steps, which is very, very important in hiring process, right? And helping organizations to build a talent, you can say talented workforce is being required with the help of right recruitment and right selections, right? Vikas, can you please change the slide? So as per my understanding, as the you can say the data shows that there is approximately 3.5 million unified positions, or you can say the unique positions in cybersecurity is going to be open in 2025, which the people need to be fulfilled. And we are the people, those who bridge the gap between the candidates and the hiring teams, right? Every people need the right talent, and the candidates need the right forum to present their talents, right? So here the CyberHire is there to bridge that gap for you guys, to give you the right talent in the right time frame with the, you can say, TAT which has been assigned to our team. Because please move to the next slide. So, and if you talk about this slide, it shows that there is a stress of, you can say, right uh, candidates the hiring managers required. On the other side, the candidates are also in equal stress, where they are feeling that they are not getting the right opportunities in the market, or maybe the right, you can say, platform from where they can apply for the right positions, right? So we are there to help them out in getting the right talent and helping them to reach to the correct organizations. On the other side, we help the hiring managers also to get the right people on board within the set frame of time which has been assigned to us. We have been doing this from couple of years, and we are doing this in the terms of giving the right talent to the people. Vikas, please move to the next slide. So the cyber hire process simplify for candidates and the recruitment manager. There are the few process which we do follow. We understand the requirement for the role. Then we craft a job description that will attract the right talent and create a kind of interest in the candidate to apply for that positions. Match professionals in our database and channels. This is our procedure, how we close this. You can say we bridge the gap, how we help the candidates to reach to the right, you can say, um, teams, or to the recruitment managers, or to the hiring managers, or the technical team. So they get the right opportunities in the terms of getting the right positions where they can show their exact talent. So if I talk about interviews, all potential candidates, what we do that we first screen all the candidates on our level. We identify what is their expectation from their roles, and then we match it to the teams, which has been the job description, which has been open to us. And we will close that on the basis of the profiles which we have received. Then we prepare the professionals for professionals interviews. We have a team of people which conducts the technical rounds, screen the candidates on the first level, and after that we pass that to the panels according to their requirements. And then offer processing. Feedback will be taken care by us. We take what is the reason if somebody is not been selected. If somebody is selected, what, and we take ensure the person is getting on board. We take the feedbacks, etc. So major purpose of the cyber hire is to bridge a gap where we bring complete cyber security team related to any skills, whether it is VAPT, whether it is GRC, whether it is related to SOCs, whether it is related to other segments, which is all the part of SIM, SOR, etc., which is the part of the entire cybersecurity group, where we pick up the right talent, understand their requirements, what are they looking for. On the other side, we interact with the candidates to understand what kind of a role they are looking for, and then we match and close it to the right place. So I want to understand from all of you, do you guys face the same challenge Do you have any suggestions how we can increase these kind of you can say things from where we can get the right talent? Any suggestions from you guys sides which help us to bridge this gap and which will help the hiring managers as well as candidates to overcome from this stress? You can write me in my write in your chat box. So far, I have received only one question. Any suggestions? I'm looking for your, you can say, feedbacks in terms of how we can bridge the gaps, or either any suggestions, what you feel, what we can do to bring the right talents on the team.
I think in the interest of time, we can move forward. We can collect all these feedbacks and then answer them
So
later.
I'm just taking 2, 3 points in this. You can say which has been put into the chat box. One is mentioned is this session is for the recruitment team or it is for the candidate. So this session is both ways because it is a both way process. There are certain people those who are looking for a change, and there are certain people those who are looking for you can say the right talents for their organizations. So we are there to help both of them in terms of getting the right talents and on the terms of helping the candidate to getting in the right forums. Right. On the other side, some person has mentioned to associate with the colleges, but that can be a profile where we can groom them, and we are already grooming them by providing them the trainings for the skills. But that will be applicable in the case of generally in the fresher case. If the people are on the like experience notes, we have to filter that in the terms of getting the you can say right talent on board. So for that, we take the questionnaires from the hiring team, we support them in the hiring, so on and so forth. And somebody has raised the question, are you able to share your interview score candidate wise? Yes, we can. We can, if the requirement is there from the like, you can say the hiring team. Yes, we can share that as well. Rest all the questions, we will definitely take care. We will give you all, you can say, questions, answers in our next, you can say, session. Here is the next slide of our organization where we are asking you to connect with the CyberHire team for the purpose of getting on, you can say, right talent, or either the candidate, those who are interested for applying or looking for a change, so they can apply on it. On the other side, there is a scanner from where you can scan and get on, you can get the link and can get into that group also. Apart from that, we mention here that if somebody refer us the right talent in this forum, we will if the person get close in the entire process and the person get on board, the things will be finalized. There is a refer and earn scheme for that people. We give there is a referral benefit the individual get. Apart from that, as we are, if you guys get connected in this forum or either in this group, you guys get day on day, you can say on weekly basis, we are going to post the open positions, and we are welcome, you can say, the recruitment or the hiring managers to open the positions to our organization. We can help you to close that positions. On the other side, candidates can also apply on the positions which has been shared by us in that groups for the right opportunities. So from my side, my you can say session, which is there, is to pass a message that we required the right talent, and we have to reduce the stress of the applicants as well as to the recruitment managers by being a HR partners to them, helping them on getting the right talent on board, on the attracting the right talent for the right positions also. So your suggestions are welcome in the chat box. Thank you for today's session. I am passing the session now to Mr. Prakash. Mr. Prakash, please.
Thank you, Preeti, for this wonderful introduction. And it's good to have a fellow recruiter on board, so it'll ease my work. Absolutely. So thank you, Vikas, and thank you, Ashish, for giving me this opportunity to make this presentation to this August gathering of India's top CISOs, and that also on a Thursday working day morning. Great to see the numbers over here, more than 180. Very, very impressed. Thank you, and let's hope we make a great session out of it, given the limited time, but let's try to see the maximum benefit to all of us. I would like it to be a very interactive session. I will talk. If you have any questions, please ask. Although I'm sure Ashish has kept certain time at the end of the session for question answers, I'll be happy to address them at that time. And next slide, because I was just trying to understand the role of a CISO actually, and I got really very scared. Imagine the global havoc a cyber attack will create, or if there was an attack on the Pentagon in USA. That is the type of fears I'm sure most of the CISOs would be experiencing in their daily life, although on a much smaller scale, defending their organizations. Next slide, because I was just trying to imagine what a CISO's life is like. Recently, 4 months back, there was a case of 500 million personal data records were compromised at a global IT head, an IT organization based in USA. So even the largest of organizations do have breaches in their security system, intentional or unintentional. The role of a CEO or CISO, I'm sure you're all experts at that. I need not really guide you on this, but really it is defending your organization's people, assets, infrastructures from real and imagined threats of all types. The three biggest challenges I can assess of a CISO's life. One is very rapid changing in technology. You are trying to defend your organization from an unknown enemy. You don't know who's the enemy, where the enemy resides, and I am sure the enemy is as smart, if not smarter than all of us. So it's a very huge threat and perception, which a CISO is really expected to be aware about it and ensure zero incidences in his or her organization. A huge task, actually. Similarly, there are a lot of global concerns on cybersecurity, data privileges, and other things. A lot of governments are enacting a lot of legal legislations. They are making it mandatory on companies to have extremely stringent measures in terms of security, cyber security, and all, adding to the, I would say, the workload and the stress and requirement of a CISO. Economic situation is also not great globally. Must be hearing of downsizing happening across the organization, across IT companies also. Costs involved in terms of acquiring of technology, which CISO is expected to be on top of the global technology in terms of his or her domain. The cost going high. At the same time, the managerial expectation also being absolutely demanding and rigid. It's a very unenviable role a CISO might be performing in today's world. And next slide, because what is the life of a CISO? One is meeting leadership, team, user, and customer expectation. And those are not defined. The CISO is expected to really understand the expectations and deliver them. Stressful targets, zero incidences, risk perceptions, phishing, hacking, cyber attacks, all sorts of things. Continuous technology upskilling. You have to be on top of the technology, and we don't know who the potential, I would say, cyber attacker is. Maybe he might be a engineer from one of the elitist institutes of the world also. So you're competing against very intelligent competitors, and you don't know who the competitor is, where the person is residing. So very, I have to be totally alert on what could happen, what could damage the progress, economics, and profitability of your business. At the same time, work-life balance, because it's such a very demanding situation, like a doctor on call 24/7, very demanding in terms of the compromises you have to make in terms of your work-life balance. Next slide, because very important. This session is more on what is success for a CISO. Success means many things to many people. I have guided a lot of people in the IT domain, including CISOs and directors of intelligence security, information security, and all that. I have come across people of different types having different perception and expectations in terms of success. Is it passion for technology? I know someone who has been winning awards, virtually every one award a month. Secondly, what is your mission? To succeed, to defend your organization, to see that it is cyber safe. Power, being a head of a large organization, a global organization, like a CISO of, let's say, Microsoft or something. What exactly is your aspiration? Is it money that is motivating you? Is it credibility, being visible in the community, receiving a lot of awards? Is it family life, work-life balance? You need to really define what exactly does success mean to you, and then measure your progress according to that. Yeah, next slides, Vikas. What I would feel as a broad formula for career success is, first is continue in an organization till you see growth coming to you, whether it is job satisfaction, the projects you're doing, the culture of the organization, the box, whether it's a toxic culture, non-toxic culture, what's the money you're getting. If you are growing in an organization, please continue to be in the same organization. Yes, you should evaluate your options in a passive way. You should know what the market is, what the market reality is, but not really jump at every interview opportunity you get and explore every opportunity. That's not required. Know what is realistic, what is your true worth, what's your value, what's your concept of success, and then move towards that goal. In any case, if you are going to be evaluating your options in a very passive way, I'll come to gradually in this session what is a passive way of looking for a job. But you must always be prepared. As I say, there are two things in life you must always have up to date, real time. One is your passport and visa. You don't know when you'll be asked to travel abroad. Second is your resume and your LinkedIn profile. You never know when a golden opportunity comes your way. 2 or 3 years back, I had similar sessions, two similar sessions. Ashish knows about it, with CIOs of India. Within 2 or 3 days after this webinar we had, it was during the COVID time. One candidate approached me and said that there was a golden opportunity in Microsoft. I missed it because I didn't have a ready resume. So it's not necessary that you should have a resume only when you're looking for a job. Have your resume even when you're not looking for a job. It's like your health insurance. You have to pay for it whether you are having a problem or not, but be prepared for it. Next is know your recruiter. You should know who are the recruiters, and we have one on the panel right now. What is their psyche? What's the mindset? What is the recruiter really looking for in terms of accepting people for his or her organization? Next, the whole game is about two things. One is optimization of search engines, in the sense being uh, optimized whenever any recruiter is searching for you. This recruiter should be able to reach you wherever you're on earth. And secondly, you must be visible. You cannot have a great profile and not be visible, because recruiters are looking at talent 24 by 7. As Preeti also said, there's a huge demand for CISOs. One needs to be really totally prepared and aware about the market reality. What is it that the market is outside is worth and what it has to offer to you. Always be open to consulting your friends, family, career consultants, well-wishers, what is working best for you. It's not a solo decision you have to take. It's a total community decision you have to take with your family, at least what exactly is working, because work-life balance is very, very important in today's professional's life. Carefully evaluate your options. Even if you are getting any option, you must evaluate it carefully. There's no rush. Take your time, evaluate it. As I said, talk to friends and family, and then if all the signals are positive, please move ahead and then go ahead full gusto without looking back. Next slide, Vikas. One always feels that the other person is doing much better, getting more money, what he's traveling abroad and all, what the hell am I doing sitting over here in India and all. Grass always looks greener on the other side. So you have to weigh your options very, very clearly, because a wrong decision on your part can set your career back by at least 5 or 10 years. I've seen people rushing in a hurry to change jobs and repenting at leisure. It's a very, very difficult situation. Then it can involve financial losses. It could involve family peace, a lot of EMIs missed out and other things. So you have to be very careful when you're looking for a job and transitioning into a new role. You have to be careful in terms of the type of organization you're getting into. I've seen a lot of people getting into great brands of organization, but not great bosses, very toxic bosses. And within 15 days, 1 month, I guided one candidate very, very recently in a different field. He was in brand management. 1 year later, he's saying is a terrible organization. Culture-wise, it's not, I'm not fitting in. So there are a lot of things that can happen. You have to be very, very careful. One wrong decision can be very costly in your career. Next slide, please. Career transitioning is a whole process. It's not just resume or LinkedIn or whatever it is. I come across a lot of people, abhi to resume ban gaya, now I'll get a job automatically. Nothing comes in life. There's no free lunch. No one gives you a job automatically if you have a good resume. It has to be a totally planned job transitioning strategy. And to transition into a great role, if you're doing a good job, please go into a greater job. It takes 6 months to 1 year at the bare minimum. I come across people recently, 2 days ago, someone sent me a message. I want to change a job in this month. He sent me a message on 19th of August. I mean, that is being very, very, I would say, unrealistic. Be realistic, map out your roadmap. As you are all professionals, experts in making out roadmaps, make out a career roadmap for yourself. Have all the documents ready. I'll guide you on other aspects of it. I have a good network. With the importance of network, I'll just come to later on. I have a good job search strategy in place. Be prepared for interviews. I get requests from CFOs of companies earning 2 crores annual salary saying, I want your guidance in terms of interview success. I'm surprised at times. I said, you are a CFO of a company. You are interviewing so many GMs, VPs on a regular basis. Why do you need my help? At that stage, he says that the risk of me is failing an interview is extremely high in terms of costs and the salary expectations. One wrong interview and it could set my career goals tremendously back. So it's not just the junior people who need interview guidance, it's even the senior people who will need even more close interview guidance to succeed in their careers. Salary negotiation, very, very important. You cannot just have a mental imagination 30% is the market growth rate, I must go for that. For all you know, you might be expecting or getting 50% increase. Why do you want to really fix up a arbitrary number, 25%, 30%? Evaluate the market. That's why I'm saying consult your friends, guide career guides and relatives and all that. What is the, and there are a lot of now sites available, Glassdoor, Ambition Box and all, where you can really get a feel of what the number is outside. I have guided people where they were expecting 80 lakhs salary to get 85 and 90 lakhs. So you have to have a total, I would say, lowdown of what exactly is the type of market scenario, the jobs available, the salaries available before taking the plunge and getting into a role. Let's move on to the next slide. Today's focus is really understanding, very important, as even Preeti was saying, a recruiter psyche. What is exactly a recruiter looking for? Career planning. Then, of course, the main 3 topics: resume writing, LinkedIn, and cover letters. Next slide, Lucas. Now, we need to know, as she also said, what are the employers really looking for? Today, and this is a very old saying, McKinsey's war for talent, that was coined several decades back. It still is valid. As Preeti also said, 3.5 million jobs in the market. Are they enough takers? There are so many people who are qualifying for the positions of, information security and other things, but how many of you are really actually getting interview calls? You should really think through, why am I not getting an interview call if there is such a big demand as Preeti is projecting? It's not necessary that you should be getting an interview call only when you're looking for a job. No. Passive job seeking is when you start getting interview calls when you're not even looking for a job. As a recruiter, and I've also been a recruiter 30 years, we look for candidates who are passive candidates. We don't want generally to look at people who are actively looking at every job that is advertised on LinkedIn Jobs or Naukri or Monster. Those are the active job seekers. We know he's applying for every job. Next job he gets, he leave us and go to the next company also. A good recruiter always looks at passive candidates. I always say, like Amitabh Bachchan, he might be getting a film offer every day. Doesn't mean he's accepting every film that comes his way. Its own career plan, his own priorities, time availability. But at least he has the satisfaction. People are noticing me and sending me film offers. Same thing you should, on a regular basis, if you're doing well, get offers. Whether you accept it or not is your call. At the other end, outside in, a recruiter doesn't know whether you are looking for a job or not. His job is to get the right candidate for his company or his client company. He might approach you, you're a great CISO and I would like to have this guy from my company. I don't know whether you're looking for a job or not. But from your side, you should have that sense of, I would say, visibility, credibility, that people are noticing you, approaching you. It's for you to take a decision whether you want to explore that particular opportunity or not. At the other end, from the company's point of view, you have to understand, one, the business cycles have come down substantially. What used to take 5 and 10 years, now you are in technology. Technology is changing every 3 months and 6 months, new technology is coming up. From a recruiter's point of view, the cost of a wrong hire can be huge. It can set the company back by several years in terms of their own vision. Second thing, it might set the company back in terms of profitability, business loss, and other things. So a recruiter is very, very cautious. He's a smart guy. He knows what the company wants. He's looking for the right person who can deliver to his company. You might wonder, I have sent my CV 50 times in job site, not in one interview call. You have to understand that recruiters are working for their own company. And when I say recruiter, I'm saying there are 2 types of recruiters. One is a corporate recruiter. One is third-party recruitment firms. Both have the same mission to get the right candidate for the respective company. So he knows or she knows what exactly is required. You are not in the know of what is working in the recruiter's mind, what the companies wants and all that. That's why contacting as many people, consulting people, getting advice helps you to get more entitled enlightenment in terms of what is required by a particular company, and then frame your entire approach specifically customized for that company's requirements. You cannot have one size fits all, one resume to go to every company and all. No, that doesn't work. You have to customize. Even if it was Microsoft, there are 2 vacancies of CISO, you have to customize your CV for each of these 2 vacancies. You cannot have one CV going for both the vacancies. That is a big, big red flag. Next slide, please. In terms of career planning, you have to take a call yourself. As I said in the earlier slide, know your worth. What are you really interested and passionate about? You have to look at your journey. Forget the journey of your good friend and all, what he's doing. All, you're not concerned with that. You have to look at your own circumstances, your ecosystem, what exactly, where you are, what are you doing, what are you wanting, how's your family, the EMIs, the children's education and other things. You can't compare just one aspect of it and say, okay, he's doing well, he's getting 1 CR salary, I'm getting 70 lakhs. I'm underpaid. No, you can't go to all that aspects of it. You have to look at your own journey. It's your journey. Maybe you're much more, as I said, you define what's your concept of success. Maybe you're more successful than other guy. Maybe the guy with 1 crore salary is buying you that this guy's so happy and all, such a peaceful life and all family life. I don't have that. Look at your own journey. Don't look at what the other's journey. Have a roadmap. All, as I said, IT people are good at roadmaps. Have a roadmap. Today, it is, you might be 40 years old, 45 years old, you have at least a working life up to 60, 65. Prepare a roadmap where you're seeing yourself 5 years down the line, 10 years, 15 years, and work towards that. Your every job change or every career move that you're making right now has to be aligned with your overall goal map. Yes, it's not a linear progression that you're going to go every year, VP, senior VP, finance director, or CISO director, or whatever it is. It has to be, it will have a lot of non-linear movements, it will have zigzags and all that. That's part of life. So have an overall goal and anchor and move towards that. That's very, very important. And get, again, as I keep on saying, guidance from wherever, whoever, to help you move towards your goal. Next slide, please. What you need to be prepared about is, even if it's one particular company, you need to do a thorough search. It's a question of quality rather than quantity. There's no point sending CVs to 20 companies. No. Have a priority. Look at 2 or 3 or 4 top companies in a time span of 1 month where you would like to transition into. Do a lot of research about the company. Understand the ethos of the company, the requirement of the job, the culture of the company. What is it that they are looking for? Are you really suitable for their job? If you are suitable, then only make an attempt to do it. I see, as I said, a lot of people applying to 50 companies and not getting even one interview call because they were not even suitable for the particular role. Just applying doesn't guarantee you an interview call. You have to be very clear what is it that the company wants and are you really fit for that particular role. If you're fitting in 75 to 80% of the JD's requirements, yes, please do apply. Well, I'm not saying no. But if you are fitting in only 20%, 25% of JD's requirement, there's no point wasting your time and energy. Okay, next slide. Coming to now the basic process of a job search, the first point of contact between you and a potential employer are, traditionally it used to be resumes. Yes, you applied for a job on a job site, you sent your resume, got shortlisted for an interview. If you're lucky, you got the job, and that was the end of the matter. Today, things are not so simple. It's very, very, very complex. But still, the first point of contact between you and a potential employer is generally, I'm saying in quotes, I'll come to the second aspect slightly in 5 minutes time. It's generally the resume. It is your resume that is doing the talking on your behalf. You will get to talk about yourself and your capabilities only at the interview. I see a lot of people saying, I have not put that in the CV because I'll talk about that at the interview. But first, sir, you have to reach the interview stage. If you don't put any information that is relevant from a recruiter's point of view on the resume, what do you expect him to do? How do you expect him to shortlist you for any interview and all? So resumes are very, very complex documents. People think it's very simple. It's my life history. I can easily make a 2 or 3 page resume. What's so great about it? No, it's very, very complex. It's a combination of art, science, psychology, logic, research, preparation, and all that. It's quite a complex thing. And even if you have made a resume, as I said, you must customize your resume for every job you're applying. Customization of resume takes 3 to 4 hours. We do a lot of customization of candidates' resumes also. I spend 3 to 4 hours trying to prepare a good and strong resume so that then the probability of your resume going through the process is extremely high. By sending a resume at random, you're not really increasing the probability. You're like playing in a casino, 1 in a million probability, you might still get the job. That's still possible, but that's not the right way of doing things. I'll guide you broadly. It's a huge topic, but I'll guide you broadly. What are the essentials of a good resume and what do recruiters really look for in a resume? Next slide, please, Vikas. You should know that there are two ways of applying for a job. One is, as I said, the traditional way. There's an application you have to send. There's a vacancy on LinkedIn Jobs, Naukri, Monster, IT Jobs, whatever it is. And you feel that I'm the best candidate for the job. I have sent the resume. I should now wait for an interview call. It doesn't happen. It's not so simple. You should know that globally and in India, for any job that is advertised, the company gets between 200 and 800 resumes. I have seen cases where companies have got, okay, so a very, I would say, junior person, 10,000 resumes. What is your probability of getting a job 1 in 10,000? And that percentage probability you would have got into Harvard Business School, IFS, IMAs, and everything, but not got a job in that particular company. So probabilities are extremely low. That's why all companies, all good companies, have a screening device before the resume reaches the recruiter. No recruiter looks at a resume real time. It's not that you send the resume and it's being read by the recruiter. It never happens. He has no time to read even 10 resumes. Leave aside, look at 100 and 200 resumes. So to reduce the workload, the companies have installed back-end ERPs called recruitment softwares or applicant tracking systems to match what's asked for in the job description to what is there in your resume. You're all IT people, it's all electronic scanning, AI, ML and all. And basis of that comparison, the ATS decides, it's a machine that decides which CVs the recruiter should see and which he should not see. There are globally more than 250 applicant tracking systems. Global, local, India, you have Hirecraft of the world. Globally, largest selling one is Taleo from Oracle. That has 20-25% market share, and most multinational companies have Taleo. Each of them are softwares coded differently, programmed differently, customized differently. No one CV can meet the requirements of all the ATS that is there. And you, at the sending end, you have no idea what ATS and which version, whether there's a 2020 version or 2024 version of Taleo that company has. Each of them, and as progressively, the versions go on improving. ATS have been in the existence since about 20 years. They are highly imperfect. They are notorious for rejecting 80 to 85% of the CVs fed into it. So you might think I'm Mr. Perfect for the job and still your CV may be rejected by the ATS. There are several reasons why ATSs reject the CVs, and you cannot depend on the ATS that your resume will be strong enough to go through the ATS. If anyone promises you, I'll give you an ATS compliant resume, I think you should take it with a pinch of salt. No one can create a resume that will be compliant to all 250 ATSs in the world. Next slide, please. At the same time, it's a necessary evil. As I've said, 98% of Fortune 500 companies have ATS because to go through 800 resumes, no one has the time. Yes, it's an imperfect system, but you have to live. Life is imperfect. You have to live with imperfections. You can't have everything perfect. But at the same time, it's your career that's at stake. You have to safeguard your career. If it's a great opportunity in a Google or a Microsoft or Amazon, you have to ensure that your CV reaches the right places and all. That is the art of job search and transitioning. That's what you should really be going at. ATS is a necessary evil from a company's point of view. You have to live with it. Most of the companies have certain threshold cutoffs, say 80% match with the JD. Only resumes matching 80% of the JD's requirement will go through the system and reach the recruiter screen. Unless, of course, the second way of doing it is if you have contacts and reaching out directly to the recruiter, it reaches his mailbox directly, then you have bypassed this entire juggernaut called ATS and you have hit the screen and the eyeballs of the recruiter directly. That is what networking is all about, which I'll just talk to you. Next slide, please. Okay, the recruiters, candidates do argue with me a lot. I want a one-page resume. I read abroad, USA and all, the billion one-page resume and all. Actually, it's absolutely, I would say, unacceptable even now because we are guided by the best career guides, resume writers in the world. We follow a lot of people who are on LinkedIn's panel of top 10 or 20 career guides globally. I am also a LinkedIn top voice for 3 dimensions: resume writing, career guidance, and career development. So we know what is really required. A recruiter is really looking for the best candidate. He's looking for business content. He's not looking at a one-page resume. What aspects of your career are you going to project on that one-page resume? And that is the only communication between you and the recruiter. On what basis is he going to decide out of 400, 500 resumes that this is the resume I'll be calling for an interview? You have to give a strong business content in your resume. Length is least material. Yes, it cannot be a 5 and 10 page resume. That's wrong. But whether it's a 2 page resume or 3 page resume, it has to be as long as it is required, so long as you're giving real achievements in your career and you're not being repetitive. What you did 10 years back, again, you're talking, I'm doing the same thing currently also, doesn't add any value. Talk about how you have grown, what achievements you have delivered and all. If it takes 2 or 3 pages, no recruiter is going to stop reading your resume after 1 or 2 pages. Next slide, please. As I said, ATS rejects 80% of the resumes fed into it, and the recruiter will look at it only after it has gone through the ATS. Second stage of rejection or elimination in the process is recruiter, even if 80% of CVs out of, let's say, 200 are rejected by the ATS, he gets 40 CVs. He doesn't have time to read. I've been a recruiter 30 years. He doesn't have time to read 40 CVs. Each CV, it will take you, and especially IT people, their CVs are very complex, too many projects and all that. 3 or 4 minutes per CV into 40 CVs. 3 hours just to read CVs for one position. No recruiter has that luxury of time. So what recruiters do is, like if you were in Delhi, how do you read Hindustan Times in the morning? You glance through the headlines. Any particular headline that is relevant to your profession or interest, you will spend 1 or 2 minutes on that. That's exactly what a recruiter is doing. He or she is going through those 40 CVs, scanning down the CVs in 5 or 10 seconds time. That is a window of time your CV has to create a positive impression and engage the recruiter. That's why the structuring of the CV and the formatting becomes very important, so that within that 5 or 10 seconds glance, the recruiter has some idea that, okay, this CV has something solid for me. Let me spend another 3 or 4 minutes looking at the CV. So all that 800 CVs finally get compressed and decided upon who to be called for interview in hardly 30 to 40 minutes. That's how the recruitment process works. And when it is a last stage, that last mile, 10 or 12 CVs that recruiter is looking at, spending 3-4 minutes per CV, that's the time he's really looking at business content. What is the value this CV is offering to me? Why should I recruit this person? What is the person's USP? What benefit am I going to get by recruiting this person, or at least calling this person for an interview? Today's world, unlike olden times where people used to be calling 10 and 20 candidates, have 4 and 5 rounds of interviews, technology is changing very fast. No one has time to call you 3 and 4 times and all that. Today, companies call only 2 or 3 or 4 candidates for interview, have intensive 1 or 2 rounds of interview, 1 to 2 hours, and decide. That is the speed at which companies are working. So from the recruiter's point of view, it's a big risk. Out of 800 CVs, he has to call only 3 or 4 CVs of the right profile, of the right competence to his company for interview. A wrong CV call, a wrong person call for interview is a big miss, and maybe he might get a big firing from the seniors, wasting the board time and all, calling irrelevant people. So recruiter is a highly stressed person, like CISO is a highly stressed person. He is highly stressed. He knows what is good for his company. He wants to safeguard the interest of the company at the speed of lightning, because he's not looking at only one position. He's looking at 2 or 3 positions at the same time. So he has to jolly well make a correct decision on behalf of his company. So that's why he's very particular, or she's very particular about the type of person he is or she is calling for the interview. Next slide. I'll summarize this slide itself. You can go through this presentation later on. Is only thing that recruiter is looking at is isme mera kya hai? What is it in for me? What is the value this particular CV is giving to me? He's not interested in anything else. He's not interested whether you're playing football, cricket, chess, and all. He has no interest. He just wants to know, Mr. X, how best is he suited for this particular job in my company? That's all. And that's what your CV has to communicate. Next slide, please. Most CVs are very, I would say, colorful. They have pie charts and I would say career timelines. Neither the ATS can go through any of this. All this gets stripped down information. The ATS gets a very limited stripped down version of your resume. So having all the funny colors, graphs, pie charts and all has no relevance. Same thing, recruiter is going through a CV in 5 or 10 seconds time. He has no time to appreciate the beauty of your resume and see what colors you're using. If you are into creative and graphology, yes, you may have a colorful CV, but if you're in a CCO presenting yourself for a serious job, he's only interested in what value you bring to his organization, what you have done, what you have achieved. and how best you fit into the organization. So having video CVs, colorful CVs and all is a waste of time. In fact, it irritates the recruiter in that 5 or 10 second glance, seeing all funny things. He's trying to search for actual content in your CV, and he gets confused looking at career graphs and pie charts and all that. He misses out and he moves on to next CV. Ye nahi hua to next CV to hai hi hai. I have another 20 CVs to look at. I'll always get the person I'm looking for. But you have missed the opportunity. Next CV, please. Next slide, please. Global studies and our own impact. We do a lot of regular polls and all. This is the metric you should really be interested in. Job sites are only serving 20% of the total market requirements. Recruiters have reduced their interest in job sites. Today, their major focus is that 70%, I would really scale it up to 80%, probability of transitioning into a good role through your personal contacts. The best people to help you transition are your past colleagues, your seniors, your classmates, alumni of your engineering institutes, MBA institutes, your family, your friends, your peer groups in the CISO association, and all that. They are the best people and the most reliable people. In fact, most companies have the employee referral schemes where they prefer employees referring people to the companies and for some financial gain also, because they know this is the most reliable person. Second thing, probability of offer decline also will come down substantially if you are coming from a known source and all. And a known source will never refer a wrong candidate in his own company. So 70% is a probability. Today, what happens is most people are focused only on job sites. I said I have applied to 50 companies, 100 companies. Didn't get an interview call, but you're wasting your time. You're not spending the time very rationally and properly in the right channel. I'm not saying don't apply for a job through a job site. Please do apply. If you get a good job, please apply. As I said, it takes 2 to 3 hours to even customize your resume for a job. But look at the larger picture where 70% to 80% probability is transitioning into a good role through your own personal contacts and social network. Next slide, please. Today, LinkedIn has become the Google for all professionals. If I get a name, I got Vikas Arora, first thing I did was went to LinkedIn. I didn't even bother to go to Google to find out who is Vikas Arora, Ashish Kurana, or whatever it is. No way. So today, as they say, if you don't have a presence on LinkedIn, you don't exist in the professional world. That is the level of prominence and importance and penetration LinkedIn has had in the last 5 to 8 years' time. Today, the penetration of LinkedIn in the professional community, especially at senior levels, is almost 100%. Everyone, maybe 1 out of 10,000 may not have a LinkedIn profile. Everyone has a LinkedIn profile. From a recruiter's point of view, that's an ideal thing. If I have access to 100% of the community, why should I waste my time putting an ad in a job site, getting 800 application and all that? That also, I'm still not very clear whether Mr. Right has even applied for my job or not. There's so many vacancies, whether the right person for the job has seen my vacancy, whether he's applied or not, I have no idea. Here, the recruiters are now going the reverse way. If most companies have a corporate account or recruit account with LinkedIn, because of which they have access to the 100% of the community, let's say in India, they have access to 30 to 40 filters. They feed in the filters. At the press of a button, they get all the people in the community matching the requirement. Yes, it might take a day or two's time to reach out to the people because of LinkedIn's privacy norms. At times, you don't have your personal contact details and all that. But I have seen within half an hour to 1 hour of getting a mandate, my own people starting conversations with candidates. That is a speed and accuracy at which you can operate on LinkedIn. And that's the reason why recruiters have started moving away from job sites onto LinkedIn. A good recruiter today spends 2 to 3 hours on LinkedIn identifying talent for the company. So if you don't have a strong presence, or if you have a very sketchy presence on LinkedIn, you are missing the bus in a huge, huge way. Next slide, please. This you could go through later on. The only thing what I've already said is 150 crore profiles are there on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a global access. Sitting in India, I can access CISOs based in USA, Europe, anywhere in the world. If they are good enough, I can hire them from my own company. I don't have to be dependent on local people. Today, the world is a global market. I can access the best anywhere in the world through LinkedIn. That is the power of LinkedIn. Next slide, please. Also, I do ask a lot of people whether they have whether you're applying for a job on a job site or whether you're sending your CV to a friend to introduce you to the company. A lot of people do not believe or are not aware of the importance of cover letter. that at another time, but it is very important for you to have a cover letter along with your resume, whether you are sending it to a job site or whether it's easy apply on LinkedIn or whether you're sending it to a friend. Please do send it a cover letter to make the person reading your resume understand why are you applying for a job in my company. If that is served, then it's easier for that person to go through your resume, pay more attention than 2 or 3 minutes study of your resume. It will help you get your resume noticed much better. Next slide, please. Challenges, yes, there are many particular things you need to be aware of. There are a lot of candidates, and in today's world, there's a lot of redundancies, restructuring in organization, people without jobs. How do you address this? Are questions you need to, if it applies to you, keep in mind career gaps, frequent job changes, maybe underperformance, below market salaries. How do you catch up? I know people who want to say that I'm getting 40% of the market salary. How do I get to 100%? It's no magic wand. It will take time. You have to plan your career, as I said. There might be negative references about you, either in reference checks or even you have to be very cautious about what you talk about in your social media. How do you binge party on weekends? Recruiters do look at everything. As I said, they want to identify the perfect candidates. It's not just what you're putting about yourself on LinkedIn, but what you're talking about yourself on Facebook and Instagram also make a lot of difference. But as a professional, you need to be very active on LinkedIn. If you're not present in Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, no problem. If you're not present in a strong way in LinkedIn, you have missed the bus. Next slide, please. Once you have got your resume and LinkedIn profile, then the real work starts. As I said, the candidates feel that abhi to resume ban gaya, abhi job aa jayega, and nothing happens immediately. You have to build in a job search strategy, make yourself visible. Having a strong resume doesn't mean the recruiter knows about you. Having a good LinkedIn profile doesn't mean the recruiter knows about you. Make yourself visible, build your network. See your own personal contacts, which is 70% probability of transitioning. They may have visibility onto 1 or 2 vacancies. You are looking for a job, you're looking for a great job. We need to explore the full market that is there. So you need to expand your visibility and network. The option that is available is LinkedIn, because there you can accelerate the network building. And as they say, your network is your net worth. The stronger network you have, the more options you'll have, the more visibility you have, and the more chances of getting into a dream role at a much earlier pace is what is possible through LinkedIn. So build your network. And there are many reasons why a recruiter would look at LinkedIn even after looking at your resume. It's a moot point whether a recruiter sees your resume first, your LinkedIn profile. But today's world, given recruiters spend 2 to 3 hours of a day on LinkedIn, higher probability is there of a recruiter seeing your profile first on LinkedIn than on your application or resume. But you can be rest assured, a recruiter will look at both your LinkedIn and your resume before deciding to call you for an interview. Both of them are, yes, opposite sides of the same coin. Resumes are restricted in terms of how much you can give. And as I said, the concern of most people, 2-page resume and all. LinkedIn is a platform you can put in an encyclopedia about yourself on LinkedIn and still there'll be enough space. Recruiter looks at LinkedIn from multiple points of view. Yes, first, top line to understand your professional career. 2 is to understand you as a person, your personality, your soft skills, what are you passionate about. He gets a lot of 360 degrees information about you and has a fix on your culture fit for the organization versus your resume. Like if in your resume said I restricted my incidences to 1% or something, he doesn't understand who's the person, what is his personality and other things. Whereas LinkedIn, through the various sections on LinkedIn, he gets a total understanding of you as a person, as a professional, as a family man, as a team leader, as a community member. He gets a 360-degree view about you. And a recruiter is interested in identifying the best people who are not only professionally most competent and the best, but also who will culture fit into the particular organization. That's why his dependence on LinkedIn is extremely high. Next slide, please. As I said, employer is looking at one, functional competence, definitely yes. Second most important is the culture fit, the attitude. Even the best CISO, he doesn't have, or if she doesn't have a proper, I would say, personality, culture fit, is a solo operator, cannot interact with the team. CISOs are supposed to be interacting with the whole leadership teams, with your colleagues and other cross-functional teams, with your clients and all that. If the person has no capability or shy or introverted, cannot interact with people, that may not be the right person. We might be good, or she might be good in a research type of job or technology development, not necessarily as a CISO. So as a CISO, there are many dimensions with the recruiter would really be looking for. But most important, if it is a question of tie-up between a skill and attitude, the recruiter would go for a person with the right attitude rather than skill. Skill, the recruiter can sponsor you for a training program, but the recruiter cannot change your attitude. Attitude is for life, so you have to have a complete blend of your skills and your personality and attitude for you to make the cut for a good role in a good company. Next slide, please. Also happens, this is a part of life. You might have attended 15 rounds of interviews. I've seen people going abroad to USA, parent company, and suddenly saying, we can't match your salary or the position has gone on hold. There are lots of ifs and buts in the entire cycle. So until you have got an offer and joined the company, till that time, your job search is not over. Many things can happen. The companies withdrawing offers at times, candidates declining offers, all sorts of things can happen at the same time. So it is for you to stick to your plan, the roadmap to the last thing. Once you're transitioned into your role, and even as recruiters, we always worried if he's joined a company, we don't know after 15 days, he might still leave the company and go. It's happened so many times. So till we also wait for some cycle to be completed, 1 or 2 months salary cycle to be completed, to really understand the candidate actually settle down in the company. And then we say, okay, that mandate is closed. Till that time, it's still, biting your nails and wondering whether the candidate is again suddenly going to do a bold phase and turn around and leave the company. So all sorts of things can happen. And you as candidates also can look. I've seen companies hiring people and within 1 month saying that there's a freeze, global freeze, and sacking the person also. So this is a very vicious cycle. You have to be very careful and safeguard as your security people, safeguard your career. Very, very important from your point of view. Next slide, please. I have already said recruiters are very smart people. It's for you to develop good chemistry and relationship with a recruiter, whether it's a third-party recruiter or a corporate recruiter. It is your call. You may not fit the job currently, but if you do have good vibes with the recruiter, he'll remember you or she'll remember you when next a suitable assignment comes for you. So they are like your doctor or religious head or whatever you would say. They are a friend and guides for a long time to come. Do invest in building relationship with both the corporate recruiters and third-party recruitment firms. After all, this all is a game of networking. The wider your network, the more your reach, the more the probability of transitioning into a good role. Next, please. What I would say is we have reached the end, but we may have 1 or 2 minutes if Vikas and Ashish allow. If any of you wants me to, on a public platform, evaluate your LinkedIn profile, I would be happy to do it.